Welcome to the She is a Nourish Mom podcast, where we talk about all things self-care, motherhood, and faith for the Christian mom who wants to transition from worn out to winning as the mom and woman God called her to be. I'm your host, Dr. LaToya Wiggins, but please just call me LaToya. I just want to be your mommy friend and sister in Christ as I teach you how to no longer feel depleted, but how to develop healthy habits to be nourished, renewed, and rejuvenated with biblical principles that bring peace instead of self-pity. Now let's get nourished together. Welcome back, everyone, to the She is a Nourish Mom podcast. So today I have a very special guest, Angela Williams. So hey girl, how are you?
Thank you for having me. Hey everyone.
Yeah, so Angela, I'm so excited to have you up on here, girl. You know, I was in your inbox like, girl, you need to get up on this podcast. The mamas need to hear what you have to share with them. So, Angela, go ahead and tell the mamas a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am a mom of four sons who are all grown. They are all over 20. My youngest has cerebral palsy, so I've been a caregiver. He'll be 21 this year. I am a spin instructor. I'm a Beachbody Coach, which is now body. I have to get used to that. I'm a Scentsy Consultant. Wow, my biggest job that I've had, I've held that job for about 10 years now.
Wow.
That's where I've got a lot of my business stuff from, is just by working my business and knowing that. I'm the mom of a 4-year-old Yorkie dog. She's
Oh,
my little girl. Her name is Luna Bean. And I am a new mental resilience coach. So I'm working on helping women navigate life transitions, helping them to cope with chronic stress or illness, recover from trauma, and build overall wellness, the same things that I've been going on in my life. And I
yes.
am
And
a
I'm
1-year breast cancer survivor. Sorry, I'm
1 year. Wow,
1 year.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's amazing because I met you almost a year ago now. And I remember you shared that, but I didn't realize it was just a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought it
Yep.
had been
That
some
time
years.
when you met me,
Wow.
I had a little bit of hair. My hair had just started growing back. Like when my hair was gone, you didn't see me on the internet a lot.
Uh-huh.
I may have put
So,
like one picture on there.
okay. So, ladies, I just want to tell you, she said she's a resilience coach.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, just finding out that it was actually just been a year since she's been a breast cancer survivor, you all heard that she said that's when she started getting back on the internet more. Around this time last year, we were both preparing for a summit in June. That's actually where I met Angela and heard some of her story that she's going to share with you along, I found out she was a breast cancer survivor. Y'all, when I say she rocked it. And she's going to share some of that story today. And she is an author. So, girl, I'm giving you all your props, girl. We're not going to leave anything out. So she's a speaker and an author too, girl. So yeah, you better run all that stuff out
Thank
and
you.
brag on yourself.
Thank you, because that's one thing that I kind of don't do, is tell my accolades and big
Hmm.
myself up like that. So it's nice when people do it for you. It makes me feel more comfortable to say the things out loud to people.
Yes, we
Like,
gotta lift our queens
oh,
up. We're trying to lift each other up.
yeah, yeah,
Be proud of who you are. And plus, if you're not telling all about who you are, you could be robbing somebody else of what they need from you.
yes,
So
exactly,
yeah.
exactly. Being transparent and sharing all of those things, the nitty gritty.
Uh-huh.
We're younger, the nitty gritty.
Yes. So, Angela, I always like to ask my guests, what does self-care mean to you?
Self-care to me means regularly checking on myself mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, and even socially,
Hmm.
because that's one new thing that I've added in, is being more social and checking and making sure that I check in with people and like posts and do that, just to get myself back in that. So that's what self-care means to me, just taking care of all of those 5 aspects of my life and making sure that I'm really being self-reflective about everything.
Yeah. So I already know your story, and I'm know the moms here wants to hear your story. So, what has been your challenges with self-care as a mom?
Challenges as self-care as a mom, of being a mom of 4, back when, before I actually started having a routine and getting myself in a process, before I actually could function and not be crying and upset, it looked like what do you call it, depression and
Mhm.
postpartum. But now that I am able to fit myself in, it's more or less like, well, the kids are grown for
Mhm.
one. So now it's kind of now it's kind of different. But back then, whenever I could, now I actually write down on a schedule. I have to make sure that, because Nation has cerebral palsy, my youngest, I said that he's to be 21. So I am his caregiver. So that means Monday through Friday we have school. So I had to figure out how I can fit myself in, get myself ready take him out to the bus. Because who wants to run out to the bus? Teeth ain't brushed, hair ain't, all that. So I had to figure out, okay, what time do I have to get up in order to get him ready for a shower? Then while he's getting himself ready, I go in the bathroom and I get myself ready, make my bed and everything. And then by the time he's done, I come out, finish pulling his clothes up. So it's just more or less fitting in that routine, knowing what task I'm going to have for that day, so that I can be like, okay, I have 30 minutes to just get myself cleaned up. That's what I try. At least I try to have 30 minutes. Sometimes I'll be in there doing 2 things at one time, but I at least try to get myself done up every day, because it does make you feel better when you do.
Mhm.
So that just looks like a lot of flexibility. That's one word that I like to use, because I have had to learn to be flexible in how I push my self-care in. And I make Sundays is my day. Sunday
Mhm.
is my day to shampoo my hair or just relax. And I'm looking at him like, somebody else taking you today. Today is my day. But I try to fit in self-care every day.
Yes, I love that. So I always say exactly what you just said. Self-care every day.
Every day.
Self-care isn't just on a Saturday or Sunday. Now, of course, it's great, like you have a day where you're prioritizing, like, look, I'm gonna have a lot of, self-care today, be loving up on me as a day of rest, however you want to spend that day. But you gotta fit some self-care each and every day. I also heard that the routines help.
Yes.
Routines have been helping me. Same thing, I have little kids, and when you wake up and rushing, like you said, you feel frazzled. And for me, if I don't allow myself some time to get myself together, I'm
Mhm.
feeling irritated. I'm impatient. Look, I'm rushing kids because I'm rushing myself. And it's not even fair to them. Like, I'm rushing, so why am I rushing them? Of course, it could be times where, who knows, something happens where, for whatever reason, your alarm didn't go off. Maybe you forgot to set it, or maybe the electricity went out and your phone was on the charge, or didn't charge, whatever, so you may be rushing at times. But in general, you have to have a good routine, a good system down. I love that
Mhm.
you said flexibility. That's a really big thing for moms, or in caregivers, because sometimes we're too rigid with our schedule. So then when things don't line up the way that we want them to, same thing, more stress. Then we're feeling
Yeah.
frazzled again, or upset at ourselves. So we got to have a routine, of course, with some flexibility, because it's not even just about us. We have some, some other people who we are caring for. So got to allow for that. And just the fact that we have kids, or your boy is older, but he still needs some help from you. It could be something that they're doing, like sometimes.
Yeah, when I was doing sports, I was a
Hmm.
sports mom. So I would have to, okay, you got to be at the concession stand, mom.
Hmm.
And I wanted to be the mom to be at their games. So I got to be at their games. But then I got to make sure that if I take Nation, I got to have this, and
Hmm.
make sure that I know where the bathroom is in case I have to
Right.
take
That's
the
what I was thinking about right
so,
there, that bathroom.
yeah. So, do the bathrooms will they understand if I tell them that I need to take him in the women's bathroom? Because I'm not going to go in the men's bathroom. But I've had a lot of stores and a lot of restaurants have been okay with that. Some
Hmm.
some will even put a worker outside the door for me. And
Oh, that's
some
wonderful.
people even come in the bathroom and looking at me like, you all right?
Yeah, a lot of times it's just in our head, right?
in our head, right? So it was just a lot of maneuvering and remembering to block out enough time to where you can get to where you need to be on time with
Mhm.
a little extra and you not stressing. That was my biggest thing. How can I stress less?
Mhm.
Make more
Stress
time.
less.
Stress less, because I was stressing, I was sweating. I be soaking wet by the time I'm in the car. By the time we in the doctor's office, man, he looking at me like Nation is just looking at me like I'm crazy, and I'm looking at him because I'm going like this. And now we prepare. We prepare weeks ahead of time. I'm telling him we got the dentist, we got to go to the dentist, and I'm telling him every day so that because his memory is kind of it's not tip top. He'll forget. So I'm
Mhm.
reminding him just so he's prepared. So I'm prepared. We're going to do it this time. I got to pick you up this time. So it's just putting time, fitting time.
Mhm.
We're leaving. We get there in enough time for me to get the wheelchair out, get him in there, get him in the doctor's. We still got like 10 minutes
Mhm.
because I'm like I don't want to feel I do not like feeling anxiety. That is one thing
Right.
that is
Mhm.
like so working in that time, y'all, and you have it, knowing that you do have it. Prioritize.
Mhm. Yeah, it's been a game changer for me because, like you said, you will get anxious when you feel all over the place. And that's something that I'm working through right now. I'm seeing a therapist for it. And one of the big things that has been helping me is that time management piece because I was bad with it for so long. And sometimes you get used to being that way,
And
but
it's
it's never
sad.
too late to change.
It took me this long, and I have a 25-year-old, a 24-year-old, a 22-year-old, and a 21. It took me till 2008. My first was born in 1998 till 2008 to really like start developing
Hmm.
routines and systems. And now I have perfected it.
Uh-huh.
I have perfected my routine. And I'm like, okay, if I need to switch something here, I know how to switch it here. But back in the 2000s, early 2000s, oh, child. Woo, I don't even understand how I made it through. How did the
Uh-huh.
kids make it through? That's what I be saying. How did the kids make it through?
Look, they grown now and look doing well. So look, everybody survived, right?
Yes, they survived.
And there was one other point that you mentioned that I really like. You said, I think you said that word. If not, whatever you said, it was delegating.
Yeah,
And so yes, you're primarily caring for your youngest son. But I remember even at the event that we were just at, you even said, look, if now you're in the position where like if you want to go somewhere, you need to do something for you,
for
which is
me.
self-care, even if it's professionally, you're out. Like y'all got this.
That's what's happening tonight. I leave at like 1 o'clock in the morning to to head to the airport, and I'll
Hmm.
be gone until Sunday. So
Mm.
I'm like slowly trying to tell them, okay, you got to pull his shirt down and his coat down. You got to comb his hair because he can't do. So it's like I'm kind of prepping and delegating. Like if you can do
Yeah.
this and he can do this, have him more, so that they have my man straight. Like
Yeah.
that's my man. You tell them that is my man, they'll be having my man looking crazy.
Yeah. But that's true, so you're telling them what to do, so they know how to care for their brother. They know, and I'm sure there's times where it might not be exactly perfect, but that's why you put those reminders in too, like you said, you don't want your son looking all jacked up, right? But it still might not be as perfect as mom, but it's okay because they are taking care of him.
Yes.
He's healthy, he's eating, he's getting bathed, he's groomed well while you're gone.
And then I even started a new thing with him because we have this big length mirror that
Hmm.
sits in the living room. And I told him, I said, okay, now I know that you have to set your alarm yourself. So that we did that this morning. I said, make sure it's on, make sure it's green so that you can get up on time in case nobody gets you up. Then I
Hmm.
told him, I said, make sure you brush your teeth, wash your face. I said, then I want you to go to the mirror and I want you to look at yourself when you have your clothes on. If nobody does it, straighten yourself out, but look in the mirror and make sure you are. So I'm trying to give him little things that I can see if he
Hmm.
can do for himself, because he is pretty independent,
Yeah.
but there are still certain things that he does need that, like that you have to really
A
detail,
reminder.
pay attention.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. So I know we talked a lot about, what's been going on now. We talked about even like the anxiety, depression. What were things like when you were not having this good system going on? Because I know you said you are a young mom. I think you said you were your mom at
23.
23 or already had all four by
I
23?
had all four by the time I was 23.
Yeah,
It was
so
chaotic. When I say
chaotic.
chaotic, it was very chaotic. I look at some of these young moms on YouTube and I applaud them because I did not have the cleaning down pat. I did not have the cooking down pat. It was a lot of like depression for me because I don't think I ever got over the postpartum or even said anything to about what that was my first one. So
Mm,
I had 198, 99, 2000, 2002. So they came so fast that I never had that time to be like, okay, you need to work on you. You need to heal. You need to sit back and have some. No, it was mom 24/7, 24/7. So it was chaotic. It was chaotic, but I think they came out better for it and I did too because the one thing that I stuck in my head is I will not continue generational curses. I
mhm.
will not do what my mom did. I will not yell and there was a time I did, but then I switched my thinking. Like I don't want them to be afraid of me and think that
Yeah.
that's all that ain't it didn't work for me. That's what I was telling
Yeah.
myself. Like that worked for you? No, that yelling and hitting didn't work for you. So what I did was I started talking to them. Like talking to them. People say, well, you shouldn't talk to your kids like they're yes, you kind of should. You kind of should. Because I never had the discipline problems that people do with their children. And I'm
Mhm.
looking like when we went to the store, it was four of them and they were boys and they were stair steppers. No, we walked in a single file line. They walked one behind another. They knew not to touch stuff. They were very good children. And I think it was part because I did communicate and let them know it's me, not you.
Mhm.
This is
Yeah.
this is me. It's not you. I'm going through this. Just
Mhm.
bear with me. It is, and I tried to make them understand it was never y'all. It's always me. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard. So now at the age they are, nobody has kids yet because they know, they understand. Like pace yourself and get yourself together
Mhm.
and pace yourself. But I am glad I did have them all at that young age because they learned me some stuff.
Look, some stuff or a lot.
They learned me everything. Like my whole entire growth has because of them.
Yeah.
Because they're little reflections of you. They're just little. They have everything that you gave them. So I'm learning from them while they're being adults too, which is so
Mhm.
fabulous. I'm like, boy, you didn't taught me how to budget my money. Now I'm
Okay.
thinking, yeah. So
Yeah. So what shifted? What caused you to be resilient?
ooh. The shifting came, I want to say, when I started understanding how much I would have to put into being Nation's caregiver
Mhm.
and his mom. Then I kind of started being like, okay, I have to do something about my mental. I have to do something about how I'm feeling spiritually, emotionally. This is not going to work for any of us. So I started reading self-help books. I
Mhm.
started I started being like, okay, if I change my mind, then maybe, well, before that even happened, let's go back. Before that even happened, when I found out my mom had breast cancer, that kind of is what shifted my mind because I started going into, okay, what could be the possible causes of breast cancer?
Mhm.
Okay, my mindset is one thing that I have to change. And that's when I found that nugget right there to change my mindset.
Mhm.
Just it just comes out to where I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna adapt to this. I'm gonna adapt to that because what else can we do but to adapt to whatever happens, the changes in our life. If we go with them, we going
Uh-huh.
with, you know what I mean? We going down with them. If they're bad, we're going, but then we realize we going right back up. So it's just realizing you're gonna like Ayana says, there's value in the valley. Like you're gonna do this. You're gonna have dips and curves and stuff. Just remember, you can stay balanced. You can stay peaceful. You can stay calm.
Yes. What are some of those different ways that you did start to nourish yourself physically? And then we're going to actually talk about how did your faith impact how you cared for yourself and your family also?
Mm. So when Nation was younger, it was kind of easier to move him and everything because he's spastic quadriplegic, which means all four of his limbs are tight, but he still has movement, but it's the range of motion is limited. So I know him getting bigger and me having to give him a bath and having to lift and move and put him into the car and stuff, and me being almost 230 pounds, that wasn't going to work for me. So I started being like, okay, I really have to start looking at the physical aspect. That is how I really started learning about physical, emotional, your mental, your social, because I was like, okay, if I'm not taking care of my physical, I really can't do these things for him. Like he's a hefty boy, and for me to I have to be strong. So I started being like, okay, how can I lose the weight and be comfortable about myself? I am a person who likes to be in group settings when I work out, or I have to see a class or be in a class. So I found I don't even know if they still have it. It was called sparkpeople.com. And it was a workout website. And I joined the website and I started working out there, and I started noticing how I started feeling. And I was like, well, okay, this is like therapy. Exercise became, I hated working out until I started like realizing, okay, like the endorphins and moving around. I was like, okay, I love this. I love this. So I just kept taking it further and further. Oh, and then when I found spin class, that's when I first started my actual being a fitness professional, was when I found spin class. My friend Brittany, she was like, okay, there's this free spin class. The first class is free. And we went to the first class, and I tell you, I was in love. I was in love because it was everything that I wanted. It was strength, it was movement, it was just everything. And I started going faithfully. I was going what? Almost like 5 times a week. I would go in the morning and the afternoon. I was taking class for like Monday and Wednesday and Friday. And it got to where she was like, okay, I'm hosting this. This was 2013. In 2015, she was like, okay, I'm hosting this spin instructor class where you can get certified. And I was like, you know what? I can do this. I can do that. So I signed up and I did it. And by 2016, I was teaching my first classes, and I started working at LA Fitness. I'm not there anymore, but I started seeing how I'm a natural born, I guess, teacher, instructor. Like it doesn't matter what I'm instructing on, I'm kind of good at it. So, and the way it made me feel, like you will get snatched when you ride a spin bike. Like seriously, everybody should try a spin class and understand you're working your whole body. It's awesome. Then I was like, okay, I wanted to kick it up a notch. I was like, all right, let me try this Beachbody. I found a coach and I started taking a couple of the workouts. What workout did I want to do? Why did I actually join Beachbody? I think it was because I wanted to do one of the people that I saw on there. I think it was the 10 rounds workout that I wanted to get into. And I was like, oh, you have to be a part of Beachbody. So I was like, all right, it's cheaper to be a coach. So I was like, all right, let me do that. And then it just took off from there. I mean, I would help anybody with Beachbody because I mean, the workouts, if you are consistent with what you want, and you will get it, it will come. It will come. So now my body is conditioned to where if I pick on some weight, I can lose it easily because I have been working out since 2008. Sometimes I ain't been consistent, but because I have been doing stuff, my body is starting to develop muscles, and I'm like, I feel shoulders and collarbones, and I'm like, okay.
So I know we talked a little bit about what motivated you to get fit,
Mhm.
start nourishing yourself physically. We talk about some of those things that help you with your mental health, getting really good with your time management, your routines, getting a good system with that, even getting your older kids to help out with your youngest son. You already have a day set out for you, to get your complete rest.
Mhm.
What is how has your faith impacted your journey with taking care of your children, still your youngest son, and just doing those things? Because you've been doing some great things. So,
Mhm.
really not just pouring your ability to pour into your children in a healthy way, but to pour back into yourself in a healthy way as well.
Oh, my faith has been upgraded in the last 2 years. When my son got in his accident in
Mhm.
2020, that's when, I mean, I've seen things God has done for me in my life and the blessings and the miracles, but that right there, me going on live and just asking everybody to just pray and just
Mhm.
send the well wishes, and I really do believe that that did have an effect on how things turned out for him, because he was moving, he was going so fast. He was going so fast. He was doing so much, so much, so much. And then I think the aneurysm really just wouldn't let him go anymore. So he
Mhm.
needed that time to rest. And when everybody was praying, I just really just felt all of that. And I said, okay, well, there is something out there higher than everybody
Mhm.
that's goodness, that's love, that's just what we have to take in as that positive reinforcement. And I've been trying to grasp that, whether it's me listening to my gospel music, because I don't go to church, but I will throw on a TD Jakes sermon, or Sarah Jakes Roberts.
Mhm.
I love her. I'll listen to her. I'll put on a gospel songs. I love Ty Tribbett's album. That's like an album that I play out. That's like every day. So and I pray. I
Mhm.
I'll try to make sure I'm always talking to God. I'm always talking to God, thanking him
Yeah.
for his grace, just thankful, being grateful. So my faith has played the biggest part. I think it's what's kept me on like that spiritual kind of realm where even though things ain't going good, I always kind of know this too shall pass. Like,
Yeah.
this too shall pass. And I'm finally getting back into my Bible.
So that takes us to your self-care tips.
Yeah.
So how can moms, or even any, if it's a woman just listening in general, any caregivers out there who are listening, how can they start building resilience using this AIR method? Tell us about that.
Okay, so AIR is the acronym that I've come up with, and the A is adapt, the I is inner work, and the R is repeat, which is a repeated cycle. So I feel that we must adapt, which is, for me, that's expect the unexpected. You expect the unexpected, you breathe. That's one important thing that I have learned. Meditating, I suggest everybody start with guided meditations to actually just be and breathe and sit still. Like Dr. Cheryl says, just be still. You get a lot of clarity, I've learned, from just not having anything,
Hmm.
like no noise, no nothing. And then the inner work, which was the tips that I have for you guys, which is to how to work that inner work. The 9 tips. I have 9 tips, which is inner work is the process of getting to know yourself. It's a form of self-reflective self-care. That's how I like to frame it. Self-reflective self-care, where you can help yourself go from harmful attachments. You let go of those habits, people, and thoughts, because I'm not sure if everybody knows, but your thoughts and your feelings are not the same thing. So
Hmm.
watch it, and your facts are feelings are not facts. They are not facts. Like, you think better, you feel better, you're happier. It's like you set an intention for the day that you want to be clear and positive. And sometimes something may come, but I notice when I do meditate, something will happen, and I'm more easily to let it this way. Oh, you must be having a bad day. And I keep on going. So number 2, it helps a healthy mindset too. Number 2, positive self-talk. Okay, affirmations. If you have a problem, definitely go to Google and be like, okay, what's an affirmation for this? Once you have a negative thought, try to reverse that. Push a positive thought back in. If you're thinking about a negative situation, try to think about the positive out of that situation. Like, try to change your thoughts, change your life. Try to do that. Mindfulness, like I said, quiet time, breathing. There's a thing called breath work. I'm not sure if anybody has ever heard of that, but that is a thing now. Breath work, where there's actually like classes and apps where you can just sit and just breathe. And we never know, like, sometimes if you breathe, your stomach is supposed to expand and it's supposed to go down. Like, I'm still in the process of getting mine to do those things when I breathe. So breathing is a good thing. Practicing mindfulness, guided imagery, vision, visualization. You know what I mean? That is part of being mindful. Being mindful, let me see. It helps reduce stress. You just have to, how can I put that? You have to make sure that you're thinking about, like, how do they say you're supposed to put your kids before yourself or something like that? No, don't do that. If you're not right, nobody else in your family is gonna be right. You will throw everybody off like dominoes. Like ding, 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 ding. They will all just be off the whole day. So be mindful of that. Read self-help books. Like I mentioned, the You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. The Power of Intention by Dr. Wayne Dyer. There are so many books that you can read to open your mind and focus more on that positive realm instead of woe is me realm. You know what I mean? Number 5 would be create systems, like we talked about. Create systems, use a list, a today list, as Dr. Cheryl likes to call them, which I now am calling them too, because that is what I do. It helps you establish a routine. That's kind of what a system is. It's like a routine. But I always like to say flexible. Keep that word in there when you making your plans, and because it will help you, because then you won't stress like, oh my God, I got to get that done. 1 to 3 tasks a day. Priority, according to priority. If something needs to be done before Wednesday, slap that on Monday. Make sure you knock it out. You know what I mean? If something didn't get done that can be done on Friday, put that thing on Friday. You know what I mean? Be flexible about your system, your schedule. It says a system is defined as a set of processes, tools, people, and strategies that all work together. So your system can be having somebody call you every day and hold you accountable for getting your self-care in. Taking that hour, half an hour, should be half an hour to an hour every day for yourself. I tend to have a little bit more hours, but you want 30 to 60 minutes. You really do. It'll help you solve problems too. If you're creating systems, like you can be like, okay, that just alleviated 15-20 minutes just by me not doing this or doing this the night before. Put your clothes out the night before, so you're not, that's time cut off of you doing that in the morning, and you don't have to put that into your time. I did get dressed. No, you did that. You put your clothes out, you ain't had to look for nothing. It's right there. You know what I mean? Working out. That's how I get over working out. If I set my clothes out in the morning, that is fitting into my workout because I set them out.
Yeah.
Do it. I got to put them on and do it. Number 6, write daily in a journal. Okay. We want to release those emotions. When I first started journaling, I was really young when I started journaling. And I noticed that when you write with the intention of getting it out of your head, and you put it on that paper, it won't be in your head unless you pull it and recall it, because it's always in there, like little file boxes. That's how you're able to find stuff. You got a little file box in there. So if you write it down, it's not in the forefront. You didn't filed it because you didn't wrote it down. So daily journaling, make sure we do that. Write messages from your subconscious mind. The more you write, the more you get to know yourself also. Like, follow journal prompts. Those will help you really get to doing your inner work, to really get to know yourself. So remember, the adapt, the inner work, and the repeat. 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 Adapt, the inner work, and the repe Okay, so this is, I mean, you got to remember to do that because it's a continual cycle. It's going to keep going. It's going to keep going till you die. I like to say what Dr. Frazier told us. He says, if what he tell us, if you ain't learning, you dying, and that is true. That is true. If we're not continuously learning, I met an old guy in the train station, and he was telling me about how he goes to places and he learns new things and he goes to museums and he's like in his 70s and he's like his friends is like, oh, you doing too much, I'm too old for this. And he was like, no, I gotta stay active, I gotta keep moving, I gotta keep learning. And he looked as youthful as ever, and he said his friends is all on walkers and stuff, so it's like you have to keep generating those things in your mind. So what do I have? Number 7, be honest with yourself. Oh, be honest with yourself. Like I say, you will gain self-awareness because self-awareness is your behavior, your thoughts, your behaviors, your actions, your feelings. So be honest with yourself. How do you feel about a certain thing? Like, it's 2023. Let's not go into life doing things that we don't want to do to people please. So
Right.
be honest with yourself. Practice that self-reflect on your decisions. Develop that self-awareness. Be vulnerable. Be transparent. Like, it's 2023. It's time for these things to start happening. We help more when we're transparent. We help more when we're vulnerable. I mean, if you can test it out, go tell somebody a story and I guarantee, oh girl, I would have never known you had troubles with your mom too. Like, really? Me too. Like, communicate. We like everybody I've been hearing say, the women from the summit too. We've been taught to that women we hold everything in. You're not supposed to tell your business. I will tell my business in a heartbeat. You need to know. You need to know something. I done some things. Let's talk about it. Okay. Now everybody thinks we shouldn't think about our past. No, no, no. Don't think about your past. I'm not sure of the same way. I'm a paraphrase what Les Brown says, but when you look back for the lessons. Don't look back for the hurt, the regret, the whatever. Because there are lessons in every single thing that we've been through. Like, you could be holding in resentment from something that happened to you 40 years ago. Really, really get to know yourself, because I guarantee you that mask, like they say everybody has a mask on, if you take it off, you'll be like, wow, wow, you got to learn to love yourself all over again sometimes. And then number 9, have strong connections that grow you. The connections that I have made in this last year since doing the Dr. Cheryl's Global Speaker Summit have been phenomenal. Like, they have grew me so much that if you are not doing in alignment with what I'm doing now, I really don't have a lot of chit chatter for you, because I got people that are in my space that are growing me, and we're growing together. So strong connections, that's my number 9. And then do the work consistently. So make sure when you're doing your inner work, you're doing it consistently. Do something that makes your heart feel good, whether it's for 5-10 minutes. And I swear it feels so much better. We just need to change our outlook and do that. Look like a big flower. Just be the best version of you that you can be at that time, because we all have seasons. We all have seasons. So we just want to make sure that when we come out of them seasons, we are the best version of ourselves. And that does mean being the better version than you was before.
Yes.
So always an upgrade. It's always the repeated cycle goes like this, but it's spinning
Moving
all
up.
over. Yeah. Yes.
So you're going to adapt, you're going to do inner work, right? And then you repeat for continuous growth. You're growing, and like you said, you're trying to come out of these seasons, moving forward, not moving backwards. So I love all of that. So I hope you moms have written down some good notes, found some different things to do to help, with your self-care. And, you're growing individually, but that growth is also, especially as moms or caregivers, it's allowing you to give the best of yourself. And I love that last piece too. It was the connection with the community. So you're surrounding yourself with those people who help you to grow. You're not staying around those negative people, those negative Nancy's who are going to keep you stuck or move backwards. You got to connect yourself with people who are, moving. They're trying to go some places in life and it's going the right direction, not the wrong direction, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so I love all of that, Angela. I'm so thankful to have you and sharing your expertise, teaching our moms and those caregivers who are listening how to be resilient, learning how to adapt, do the inner work, and repeat. So, with that being said, let our moms know if you have anything. We kind of mentioned some of the things at the beginning, but let them know what you have coming up and how to stay connected with you.
All right. So I have the Mothers of Exceptional Children. It's a long title. It's the journey, the joy, and the plight of real advocacy. It's a book. I have a chapter, and it's an anthology that I did with a couple moms. So if anybody wants that information, you can find me on Facebook. I'm Angela Williams on Facebook, and you can find me on Instagram. Today's, just the word today's _vibe. VIBE 4.0. And of course on YouTube, come subscribe, get me to 1,000. Come on. It's just Today's Vibe, TODAY '(s) vibe on YouTube. And what else do I have? Oh, yes, the Girl Get Up and Move book anthology that I have coming out. It's You Are More Than a Conqueror. I believe we are set to launch soon for that.
Very soon.
Yes. And the Women Who Prosper book with Dr. Cheryl we have coming out. That's in July. And so far, I'm just getting in more opportunities. So it's just like waiting for those opportunities to come. So just contact me if you want any coaching, just let me know if you want to be on Beachbody. Let me stop saying Beachbody. It's body now. If you want any information about that. But that's where you can find me. I'll be there.
All right now. So you have a lot going on, a lot of anthologies. So y'all make sure y'all follow her and keep up with everything that she has going on. And of course, if you need help with your self-care, especially as a caregiver, you need to learn how to be resilient. You know who to reach.
Sure do. I'm here. I'm working on getting websites and all that together. It's like brand new. This is like new. But I've been doing it for years. That's the thing.
Yeah, you're just putting yourself out there where everybody can see now. All right. So we are going to close out in prayer.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Father God, I thank you for the mamas who are listening today. I thank you for blessing Angela to come on and bless our mamas with some tips on how to improve their self-care and be resilient, to be better moms, to be better caregivers, to be able to pour into themselves so they can adequately pour into others, giving the best version of themselves to others, Lord. I pray that you will continue to lead us moms, and any caregivers out there, any woman, if there's a man listening, lead all of us in the right direction to please you, to do the work that you have set forth for us to do, and caring for everything that you have blessed us with, caring for our children and serving you well in our businesses, our ministries, in every area of our life. I pray that you will bless us and lead us on how you want us to nourish ourselves mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, socially, financially, in every aspect of our life, to give you the glory. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Amen.
All right, mamas, until next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to the She is the Nourished Mom podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a 5-star review, and share with a mommy friend who needs to hear this message. Connect with me on social media at She is the Nourished Mom, and let me know your ahas and takeaways from this week's episode. Until next time, keep nourishing yourself, mama.